Okay, turn 6. We did not find any enemy commander to assassinate in Terram, and there was then a battle in Terram, which we can watch, and it happened just the way I hoped. My Stalker, we'd killed all the commanders, and my Stalker was so scary, the entire enemy army just ran off the field in the first 3 rounds. Fantastic. So, took that province with no casualties, and it's a really good province. 146 income, 104 recruitment points, 18,000 population almost. And we now border Illwinter. So, I hadn't really paid close attention to the map beforehand, but Illwinter is up here. That is Kalkheim, so the Skelespam nation. And then south of me, and I believe that province is... it's the other nation that's based off of Arcocephale. It's... Prime. This nation here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so this is, this nation is here on this mountain, so down south of me. So we are going to run into a little bit of conflict with them, probably. I'm kind of scared of Kalkheim, to be honest. And also, I'm a little bit worried that Kalkheim might get this throne, because they can, of course, march hordes of skeletons right across. Well, it's a bridged river, so they have easier access to it than I do, which is actually really unfortunate. I don't have river crossing units, and they do. So I'm a little bit stuck going through this province. But even so, we're assassinating our way through tzedakah as well. We did assassinate Sibrigol, the Knight Commander, without taking any hits. And in Vipitre, we trampled everybody with Centaur Chariots, took very, very minor casualties. We lost one of our Burgmeister Guard, and we lost one Chariot. So the Burgmeisters, as you can see here, did get engaged. They ended up with just this guy in a square all by his lonesome, and he had lost an arm, so he didn't have his shield. So I think he's the one who went down. And then the Centaur Chariots came in and trampled the hell out of everybody. I'm not even sure which chariot it was that we lost. Where's the chariot that we lost? He lost an eye. Okay, so who... what chariot did we lose? I'm actually kind of perplexed. Was it that one? No. It was this one. Okay, so that Centaur Chariot took a hit, I think. And then they just all stood here throwing javelins at that guy as he ran. Oh, we got profuse bleeding on this chariot right here. Okay, fair enough. He was crippled anyway, so he wasn't going to be very effective. So, we lost one Centaur Chariot, one Burgmeister Guard. That's fine. This army is now splitting up. We have more chariots here, coming over here to join 3 chariots led by Imug. So they will all attack rear, along with 5 Burgmeister Guard to serve as Lichaf. Down here, we have got 13 chariots and 6 Burgmeister Guard going straight over into Azamar. This is likely to be kind of a tough fight because it's lighting heavy cavalry, but I can't really push down effectively past the mercs. Well, I could go into the mercs and then just cut straight left, form the sword, and have the mercs be a border. But I think taking this province and solidifying my position, as it were, first is probably more valuable. So this turn, I've negotiated with Illwinter, and basically he wanted to try and claim one of these 2 provinces, and I was like, well, okay, so on the one hand, I already have assassins up here, and if you try to move in on my territory, I'll assassinate you. On the other hand, I'd like to be peaceful, and I could potentially provide stalkers to help you take some of these really valuable farms that are around here. Because, I mean, the name of the game, when it comes to, especially a map like this, which is very symmetrical, this is an automated improved starts map. And so it's very, very symmetrical in terms of the distances between people. Like, I think we're all exactly 4 provinces away from each other and all that. So the name of the game here really is take more territory than you deserve. And unfortunately, it's actually really unfortunate for me that I have so much water kind of in my sphere of influence, as it were, because it's useless to me. I can't go underwater. So it just kind of lowers the number of provinces I can expect, whereas somebody who started, you know, here could be like, okay, so if I go 2 provinces out in all directions, that whole circle, I can plan to take. Whereas for me, my circle, if I go 2 provinces out, contains like 4 water provinces. that I can't really plan to take. But, oh well, in any case, I think we'll do fine anyway. Terrain is always kind of a confounding factor, and it just is what it is. Like, these rivers as well kind of really constrain me actually quite a bit. Like, here I can only go down there and over there. These are both roads, interestingly, so I can actually hit this province more quickly than it might look like. In any case, we're assassinating and then attacking down here in tzedakah. I might actually lose a couple of stalkers trying this. It is always a little bit of a gamble to fight knight commanders because they have so many attacks. And of course, if I don't kill both the commanders, then Traianus, the stalker, could be killed trying to attack, but I need to kind of move with speed. So we're doing what we can there. If we don't manage to kill all the commanders, we can still potentially attack with our chariots. Chariots do trample heavy cavalry pretty effectively. You tend to take a lot of casualties if you do this, but trampling knights is absolutely possible, and of course it is AP damage, so their high prot doesn't matter so much. These assassins are sneaking over here to start assassinating in Wellrid. We should be able to clear that and take it in a couple of turns. And down here we're site searching and moving some troops around. Domar, the commander, is moving down to pick up another wave of chariots, and we're triple recruiting stalkers this turn. We do have our first conjurer, who is researching for us, but I'm not yet too worried about research. We'll start ramping up research pretty soon, but for right now, my next move is going to be, I'm recruiting an indie commander here. We're going to plant a fort in Tarim in 191. We're also going to try to get, unless it's awful, we're also going to try to get a fort in tzedakah, because tzedakah will enable us to recruit longbowmen, which are good units, and knights. And it's also a farm, so hopefully it'll be high population and high income. Tarim is high population and high income just because it's large. And it has decent resources. Could be better, could be worse. It'll be able to draw from these two provinces, so that'll probably bump it up well over 100 resources, which will enable us to churn out some Burgmeister Guard, and it will definitely allow us to churn out reasonable numbers of sales, possibly Pegasus Riders. Since it has all these recruitment points, once we build a citadel in there, citadels give 125% recruitment point bonus, so it'll have over 200 recruitment points, which will be pretty dope. That will enable us to recruit like 4 or 5 Pegasus Riders a turn, or 4 or 5 chariots a turn, or over 10 Burgmeister Guard, which is probably more important actually. And then of course we can get Saus, or Saus, and Burgmeisters, and Bone Tribe Beast Hunters are always kind of our easy default option since all they really cost is gold. But I am starting to get a little bit gold strapped already just because my expanding troops are so expensive. Still, this is a pretty decent shot. We're at 6 provinces on turn 6. We'll be at 8 provinces on turn 7. Hopefully 9. Like, ideally, it would be 9. And if it was 9, then what I'll do is I'll take these chariots, roll them over here, and go up here into Idaral, or I might take the Weald. Actually, I'd probably take the Weald and send the assassins up to take Idaral, and that would work out fine. Liches, unfortunately, stalkers will not be super useful against, because liches, of course, are poison immune. Since this is primarily soulless and long dead, commanded by a lich, that's probably the Throne of Death. And to be honest, it would probably be pretty easy to take, which would be great to deny those 5 death gems per turn to anyone else. So, like, this province I could probably take just by hitting it with a whole bunch of chariots, who would just trample their way through these hordes and hordes of soulless and long dead. They do have long dead horsemen, but long dead horsemen are also trampleable by size 4 tramplers. So if I could concentrate, like, this is 450 units, so it would probably be 60 to 80 chariots. If I could concentrate that many chariots in one place, I could absolutely roll over Monarch Woods. Now, of course, we're discussing like 2,500 gold worth of chariots. The other strategy to take it would be, I mean, enough Burgmeister Guard could do it too. Burgmeister Guard will chop through soulless and long dead pretty efficiently. And they have a high enough defense skill, they wouldn't take a whole lot of attrition doing it. The damage, and also importantly, they have magic resistance 14, so if that lich was spamming like Shadow Blast or something, they wouldn't be hurt too super badly by it. The risk would be just being overwhelmed by numbers, especially if they have a few more death mages in there and can skella spam at me to make it like 1,000 units or more, so I would definitely want to include chariots. But if you could get the long dead blobbed up on infantry and then have chariots come around the back and trample the lich, I think you could take this province pretty efficiently. So that'll be the plan. I'll aim to take that throne ASAP, as soon as I can. It's equidistant between me and Kalkheim, and I think I can take it before Kalkheim can, because Kalkheim's main early game strategy is just going to be spamming out a bajillion skeletons. If we look at Cal, they do have a Trinity Pretender, which is fascinating. Now, they do have the Morvarks, the Achromic Maidens, which are, this is their water form. Their land form, of course, has the Hooves and Fire Breath attack. So they're pretty solid at taking out a bunch of skeletons. They have Raven Guard. They got the Black Ice Guard. Yeah, I don't know. I think I can probably gear up to take the place before Kalkheim can. Their Tower Guard are pretty solid, but in any case, this army is all pretty secondary to just, you know, spamming out a bajillion skeletons. Their infantry, their Black Plate infantry, also, you know, pretty good at beating their way through tons and tons of skeletons, since skeletons don't resist blunt damage, and they have a hard time hurting Prot 23. So, like, 60 or 70 Kalkheim infantry could probably also punch their way through that throne, although they might get shadow blasted to death. In any case. So, AC/DC, Wamu, and Cars. This is all, this is a JoJo reference, by the by. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. So far, I'm satisfied with how I'm doing. Like I said, expansion should be accelerating. I should be doing pretty reliably 2 provinces a turn or so from now through the end of expansion, which will be about turn 12. I'm hoping, in my wildest dreams, I'm hoping that I end up with all of this, but I won't, because I'll have to negotiate with this guy down here. And then, so Kalkheim is up there. Who's my neighbor over this side? One second. Let me examine the map one more time. Oh, yeah, that's Demise. God damn it. Really? Alright, I need to look at... I need to double check. Okay, so... Here. So that is... the Order of the Divine Flame. And so he's got the Savaran Guard, Muflon Cataphracts, he's got Vanheers as his capital-only sacred. Vanheers are very, very hard to deal with. If he's taken a Hellbless, which he probably has, although this 3 titles means he has Dominion like 5 or 6, at least. He's also got a lot of Fort Defense and Gladiators. So, interesting. He's got Buddhas. He's got Sanguine Anathemans, which are not assassins, but he does have the Dryads, which are assassins, and these are the cheap Dryads. He's also got Dadukos, which can be recruited coastally. But he doesn't actually have any good coast access. I mean, he can get here. He can take 139, and from 139 and 152, he can recruit his coast mages. And the coast mages are pretty good, so I absolutely will be focusing on that if I was him. He also has Marsh Masters, so he can do Foul Vapors really, really easily. So in his place, I would have taken Vanheers with like a... Well, it's hard to say, because Vanheers really like Barkskin. But I would definitely get poison resistance on them, and then like... They don't really need strength, because their Berserker is fucking +5, so they already hit like trucks. 26 damage axes, 24 damage broadswords. And their attack and defense skills are quite decent. So, yeah, I'd be tempted to go like... Resists and maybe plus defense or something. Vanheers are really, really good. And... Fire, Air, Water, and Astral. Yeah. Okay. He might be a problem. He's often difficult to deal with. Demise is quite prickly. And a little bit unpredictable in some ways. So, might have to end up fighting a war against him. I can out-assassinate him, though. Like, if necessary, my strategy against him can just be shitting out a ton of assassins and killing all of his mages. Polemarchs will be hard to assassinate because they are giant thugs, and they have magic weapons. That's the thing. The Godslayer spears will counteract my assassins very well. Buddhas are assassinatable until they hit enchantment 5. Marshmasters, same. Assassinatable until they hit enchantment 5. Sanguine Anathemants, very assassinatable. Dadukos, quite assassinatable. Earth Readers, very assassinatable. Although the Earth Readers will tend to cast Iron Skin on themselves, which will make their prot higher. So in order to assassinate my way through this mage lineup, I'll probably need bottles of living water or something equivalent. Some kind of item to give my stalkers the edge. Although, to be honest, just a basic armor-piercing trinket weapon might do. Can't forge any weapons yet with my Death Blood mages, but like a Skull Talisman and an Axe of Sharpness might do it for assassins to... Even pretty hefty mages will go down to armor-piercing attacks, and a little bit of retinue will provide a distraction, so that might be one way to handle it. In any case, at the very least, I might be able to assassinate army commanders or something. Like I said, Polemarchs will be the biggest problem. They're not trampleable, and they're not assassinatable. Also, he has... What else does he have again? Yeah, his Sacreds are infantry, and relatively low defense skill, so these Vanheers are absolutely trampleable. Mouflon Cataphracts, good. Good solid cavalry. Savaran Guard, also very good cavalry. So he's got a lot of good cavalry, but once again, none of the defense skills are super, super high. So I actually can beat these cavalry. I think I can even beat them in terms of value for money just by spamming my Centaur chariots. So I should be okay against the Order of the Divine Flames troop lineup. Defenders are actually the highest defense skill unit they've got, which is sort of hilarious. Okay, yeah, so in an early war, I think I can take the Order of the Divine Flame. They'll hole up in their forts if it comes to that, and counter-assassinate with Dryads, because, of course, you can do that with Dryads. Defensive assassination is hilarious. Yeah, since you can't patrol on enemy forts and all that, it's just kind of bullshit, but I can outnumber his assassins and take care of business pretty well, because my assassins can offensively assassinate because they scale walls. So I can charge into besieged castles with them and just swarm him with stalkers, and since they only cost 60 gold, it's okay if half of them die. I just have to get lucky sometimes. So, that's the turn. Expansion, going fine. Like I said, should be up to... By the end of the year, hopefully I'll be up to like 15, 17, 18 provinces maybe if I'm lucky. Something like that. Putting pressure on other people, getting ready for my first war, which will just be rolling chariots over somebody as fast as I can, backed up by strategic assassinations in different places to take out commanders and strand armies and such. And hopefully also, one of my wartime strategies will also be mass assassination of research mages, to prevent them from researching anything that they can use against me. And it's totally okay, once again, to sacrifice a bunch of stalkers doing that because they're cheap. If I can trade, like, the lives of 4 or 5 stalkers for 8 or 10 enemy research mages, I come out ahead in gold and recruitment time, and I also come out ahead in terms of the fact that I'll have done, you know, I'll have lowered their research output permanently by like 100 per turn. And all they've cost me is money. So, thanks for watching. See y'all in turn 7. Okay, turn 7. Some interesting stuff going on. First of all, we didn't manage to take tzedakah. There were more... we assassinated a knight commander and a priest, but there were more commanders than I thought, so they still had another priest and another knight commander. So we haven't taken tzedakah yet. Unfortunately, lost 1 stalker. That's fine. We'll take it next turn. We are assassinating with 2 of our commanders here, and then we've got Cascater, who just took Jerib, moving on over. So Jerib, as usual, we just rolled over it with chariots. Did take a few chariot casualties here, I think. I think we took a couple chariot casualties, but the really nice thing about these chariots is that even if they do die, they don't actually die, because they still get to live. So, yeah, tzedakah, that was that. Jerib, we lost 1 chariot, a couple of others routed, but they didn't manage to get off the field before the battle was over, so we've got all 9 of our remaining chariots concentrated under Cascater, along with the 5 Burgmeister Guard. They're going to move into tzedakah, so we'll be able to take it in 1 turn by assassinating both the commanders and then having them roll in. 3 more assassins over here. They're moving down southwards. This army took Azamar. We lost 3 chariots there because of the heavy cavalry. Heavy cavalry, chariots beat them, but they do hurt chariots. So we can see here what happened. They ran into the heavy cavalry. The heavy cavalry got their attacks off and killed one of the chariots just outright instantly. And then I think they killed a second one shortly thereafter. Yeah, they killed a couple of chariots. Meantime, this chariot kind of charged into the light cavalry alone, which is a little bit hilarious. Once we got into the light cavalry there, we started trampling them pretty well. This priest was casting heavenly fire at us. Or somebody was. Oh no, that was our prophet casting heavenly fire, wasn't it? Yeah, that was our prophet casting heavenly fire. Okay, that's cool. And he's got, of course, the strength +4, magic weapons, attack bless, all that good stuff. And so the chariots just trampled down the light cavalry as well. So we lost 3 altogether, which isn't bad, to be honest. I mean, for a heavy cavalry province, that's just fine. And Azamar is a pretty good province, too. We have almost no gold remaining. We can recruit shamblers here, actually, so we could theoretically go underwater. But this is where R'hllala is. R'hllala is in this lake. So I do have to worry about that, that late age relay insanity-causing dominion, unfortunately. Also, fun fact, because he chose the base nation of late age relay, he has the insanity-causing dominion and the freespawn. But most of his units don't actually have void sanity. His star children have void sanity. But, actually, Forgiving Fathers also have void sanity. Ryujin do not. Abbas do not, if he ever gets them, and Inaris do not. The Starspawn do, though. So, you know, he has some void sanity, but his, and his troops, them being insane, doesn't matter. So he's mainly got merman net throwers, it looks like. This army over here that we see is merman net throwers and then some shark warriors. So this is his initial starting army. He could attack me. It wouldn't be wise, but he could do it. So I'm moving Einthis away, I'm moving Shaigi away. If he wants to attack me, he can, I guess, but yeah, like I said, it wouldn't be smart. I would much rather just kind of make peace with him and be like, go bother somebody else. We have also run into the Sacreds of Hell, who are down here. The Sacreds of Hell... Actually, no. The Sacreds of Hell are... Because that's the other Arcocephale nation. That is... That's not the Sacreds of Hell. That's, Prime. Should be down there. So the Sacreds of Hell are over this side. Huh. Okay. They should be about down here. So they've got some white centaurs over here. White centaurs can actually probably beat my chariots with relatively even numbers just because they've got a bless and it's probably a terrifying bless. They might try to rush me. I think I can deal with them if they do, but I'm gonna just make friendly, peaceable contact and, you know, just be like, hey dudes, how's it going? What the haps? Domar is gonna actually, yeah, he's gonna move right over there so he can be ready to come down, take the Weald. These troops will double on over here, move down to take the Mercs. We'll get my assassins moving. Should take that province next turn, and then hopefully this province the turn after. I'll assassinate a couple of commanders with Silvius and Augustinus, and then hopefully my my chariots will be able to trample the last whatever commanders are remaining and make this group rout. Deer Tribe often don't have that many commanders, so I'm hopeful that I can secure that and these two at least. If I can do that, then my expansion will be pretty much finished by way of being blocked off by turn 9, and I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 provinces, which isn't as many as I would hope for. I'm going to need to push on some side or other, and we'll see where that is. I might be able to get that. I might be able to get this or some of these here. It'll kind of depend. It'll kind of depend on where I can go, but anywhere I go, I'm guaranteed that I'm going to be pushing on what somebody else considers their rightful turf. I can't go over here, unfortunately, because there's that river in the way, blocking me, and of course, I do have the Heat Dominion. But overall, I think things are going alright. We found 2 magic sites. In Hailmire, we found a Sun Ridge, so 2 fire gems per turn, and a Deep Crevasse, so that's an Earth gem, which is fantastic. So our gem income looking pretty good. We're up to 7. Which is just fine by me. We started with only 4 since we were a late-age nation. And Emog is searching over there, so we're just going to try to ramp up our fire, astral, and earth income as fast as we can. In a little while here, we'll start churning out conjurers or circle masters and sending them out to site search for death gems as well. And pretty soon we're going to have to start picking provinces to blood hunt. Some of these provinces I'm actually going to build forts on. Over here, this is a heavy cav province. This could be a pretty decent place to build a fort, especially because it doesn't technically share any territory with my capital. But my capital, to be honest, is not really having problems. The only thing one might potentially consider it to be running low on is gold. So I think we should be fine. We're just recruiting a couple of Burgmeister Guard this turn because all of our gold is going to starting the Palisade in Terrim, and that's going to take some time to upgrade because we are going to want to make that a citadel. This is a great province for income and recruitment points. Going to definitely want to maximize it out and start crapping out mages as hard and as fast as we can. Fortunately, we won't necessarily need a temple. We may want a temple in order to recruit abbesses there, but if we need command, we can also recruit warrior mages. We'll probably want a temple just so that we can start making Sawi or Pegasus riders. But if we don't have one, we can still make Centaur chariots, we can still make Burgmeister Guard and crossbows and all that jazz. So, shouldn't be too much of an issue. So that's the turn. We're going to have to contact both of these guys, make sure that we are friends on good terms. We already have a non-aggression pact 3 with Ilwinter, which is great, so we'll be perfectly safe up there. We are assassinating the leaders in Welrid, and yeah, should be good. I'll contact, definitely contact Ralala to let him know, and beyond that, like, I don't care if he goes down here and takes some of this, like, yeah, whatever, dude, go for it. By all means, the world is your oyster, just not my part of the world. Just leave these 4 alone, and we will be good friends. So, thanks for watching. See y'all in turn 8. Okay, turn 8. This turn, we got very unlucky with our assassinations. First of all, we were killed by a knight commander, lost a stalker to that. He just one-shot him with a hoof attack of all things. Despite it being dark, actually, so very unlucky. See, in the darkness, my defense skill is 11, and his attack skill is 9. So first of all, he passed the 9 versus 11 attack. Or I guess, counting the harassment bonus, it would be 9 versus, it would be an even attack roll, I think. But so first of all, he passed the attack. Then he passed the repel. And then he actually rolled high enough damage to kill me. So very unlucky there. And my ethereal didn't proc. So definitely unlucky. It happens. Second, Gunthamund the priest actually had some knights assigned to guard commander. So the knights killed that stalker. Then Clarambald, the barbarian chief of all things, got really lucky and scored a kill shot. This battle was very weird because for some reason, watch. Yeah, for some reason he got to swing 3 times, and then my stalker just routed. So the stalker only attacked once, actually hit, got 1 round of attacks, then got hit for 0 points of damage, so this shouldn't have done any damage, then missed, and then got hit again. I don't understand why the Barbarian Chief got 3 attacks in a row. Like, there's no mechanic that I know of that explains that. Like, he doesn't even have particularly high combat speed. He's certainly not quickened. So I don't know what was going on there. By all rights, my stalker should have just killed Clarambald outright. But the second guy did. My second assassin went in against Clarambald, and they came together and just stabbed him to death. No problem. So that was easy, at least. We got some gold in a random event there. And then we saw your friend and mine demise, leading the Order of the Sacred Flame. Few gladiators and some Colossi light infantry expanding into this indie province. I'm sad to see him, but not totally unexpected. He lost a couple of Colossi light infantry expanding through the Deer tribe. But, you know, que sera sera, it is what it is. So, he lost 2 of his Colossi light infantry and his gladiators, because his gladiators all hit somebody, so they're all gone. So all we've got here is 8 Colossi light infantry plus a dryad. Down here in tzedakah, meanwhile, because my assassins failed, my expansion party also failed. So we had the Burgmeister Guard, and then we have our commander back here, and we had our Centaur chariots attacking rear. So because all the knights were still intact, The Centaur Chariots got back here, they trampled the whole back group, so the archers and the priests and all. And then they routed because my my commander was killed. So, unfortunately, they all got massacred. They still inflicted a lot of casualties. I mean, they killed all of the longbowmen, they killed the priests, they killed 2 knights and 4 of the militia. So, I'm launching this army in. I think this army can clean them up with those 8 Centaur Chariots, and they're just set to attack. They're just going to charge straight in. My commander is behind them. Excuse me, it's been a long day at work. My commander is behind them, which is risky, but not as risky as getting murdered by knights scripted to attack rear. So I think that army should be able to take tzedakah. I'm not sure where this force is going. I need to talk to Demise, actually. Because right now, defensively, the thing to do is assassinate the Dryad. The Dryad doesn't, at the moment, have any magic that would preserve her against assassinations. So I can assassinate her. Also, that is an independent province still. So he hasn't taken that yet. So, this is the prudent defensive measure, but it's also the measure that probably gets us straight into a war, which I'm not a huge fan of. That said, I am a huge fan of owning that province. Because I need to in order to get past the rivers. I have to pass through this province. So, if I'm going to be moving in this direction at all, and I was hoping to move in that direction in order to attack Kalkheim. So, I'll talk to Demise and see if I can negotiate that. If not, I think I am probably going to have to go to war with him. And that's good, because I have a non-aggression pact up here, I have a non-aggression pact here, I have a non-aggression pact here. So down here is the only other place from which I could be fought. So if I have to end up fighting along this front, that's okay. I have a ton of money, so I'm building that palisade. I'm also starting a second palisade here in Vepitre, which is a pretty good place for one. I should recruit an indie commander there. Let's actually cancel that scout real quick in order to recruit an indie commander. Recruitment is carrying on in the UIC itself. More chariots, Magus, and Stalker. So we're getting out a pretty good grip of wizards as well as our various stalkers. We're moving out more magi to site search. This Magus is actually going to go up here, site search, and build a lab. So 1 turn, 2 turns, site search, and then a lab while we upgrade that palisade. Over here, we're double assassinating and sending our scout to attack in the hopes that that will kill off the remaining commanders, because we killed off a barbarian chief and a deer tribe shaman. And there shouldn't be many more. Deer tribe provinces usually don't have a whole lot of commanders, so we should be able to take that. And once we've taken that, we'll have secured our territory in that direction, as it were, and we can start shifting my stalkers over here to face the Order of the Divine Flame if necessary. So overall, pretty decent turn. Could have done with not being so unlucky with the assassins. That was an issue. In particular, of course, losing one up here was just stupid to a barbarian chief. That should not have happened. Losing these 2 down here, more understandable. Knight commanders are a lot tougher than most indie commanders. So, it is what it is. Antonius will sneak over there to join them as well. 2 of these guys are sneaking over here, and then they'll sneak down here into Fields of Gold in order to claim that. And should be good. Should be pretty solid. So, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 9.